warriors. So we're going to talk about how to actually rewrite your neural pathways while you are, triggered, having a trauma loop, having anxiety, whatever the case is. A lot of people think of healing and they think, calm room, incense burning, soft music, perfect mindset, and all that's great. Okay. But the real rewiring happens, at the moment your system is in freak out mode. Okay. So I'm going to give you some practical tips that are fast, easy, and effective and experience tested. First, first thing you're going to want to do is name whatever is happening. Okay, whether you realize you're in fight or flight. Okay, whether you realize that you're having some type of trauma response, you say, "I'm having a trauma response. This is not reality." If you need to tell yourself that you are safe in this moment, you saying it out loud, you know, interrupts that automatic fear circuit, okay? And it activates that rational part of your brain, all right? This is the first step to changing a neural pathway. The second thing that you can do is, regardless of where you're at, inside, outside, you're going to want to name 5 things that you can see. Just start looking around, 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can touch, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, 1 thing that you can taste, okay? And what this does is it brings you back to the present, it shifts it shifts you out of that, trigger trauma loop is what it does, okay? And brings you back into your sensible self. Your sensory brain, I think is what it's called, which rewires fear patterns, okay? The third thing you're going to want to do, I've done so much since I was a child that it actually stuck permanently, okay? You're going to want to change your physical position, okay? Trauma is stored in your posture, okay? So if you're all hunched over and, shrinking yourself, making yourself small, your body thinks that something bad is happening. So you need to stand up straight when this happens. Stand up straight, roll your shoulders back, ground if you need to, press your feet flat against the ground. Your brain follows your body, right? The fourth thing that you can do, and this one sucks, but it's actually the fastest way to stop a panic attack. I actually know this for a fact. Cold. Go outside. If you're hot, if it's cold outside, go outside. If you need to splash cold water in your face or your wrists or put a ice pack on your neck, whatever the case is, this works. Like I said, it does suck, but the cold activates, what's it called? I think that vagus nerve, okay? It activates that nerve and it tells your nervous system, it gets your attention. Hey, you shift gears, this one, like I said, is the fastest way to stop it. Another thing you can do is give your brain a new script. Do you know what I mean? And I mean immediately, okay? When a trigger hits, the old neural pathway, I'm not safe. This is happening again. I'm powerless. You need to change those, rewrite it to something else. This is an old feeling. This is a memory, not a threat. You know what I mean? Whatever the case is in your position, say I'm in control of my response, whatever you need to tell yourself at that time, but you need to rewrite that right then and there, okay? And what this does is, your brain learns through repetition, okay? So, during your triggers or anxiety, anything that's emotionally activated, do you know what I'm saying? This is literally how new neural pathways form, okay? Is by doing it right then and there. You can do your hand on the hand to heart thing. You put your one hand here, one on your stomach, take a few breaths, and you tell yourself, I'm right here. I'm okay. I've got you. I'm safe, you know? And what that tells your nervous system is that you're not alone, okay? I know this sounds silly, but I'm telling you, it works. Um, and that self-safety reconnects the mind and body. You know what I'm saying? Um, Another thing, after everything happens, you need to reflect on it. Ask yourself, what what in me got triggered? You know, what part of me got triggered? Whatever the case is, what did I need in that moment? What made it better? You know, um, this is where integration, happens. Okay. It's where you turn a trigger into wisdom. Let me think. You don't heal by not ever being triggered. You know, you heal by responding differently each time you are triggered. Um, I don't know what is in my mouth. Every time you interrupt that loop, even a little bit, you know what I mean? Um, you create a new neural pathway. This is exactly how brains rewire, with consistency. Consistency over perfection. Okay? You're doing better than you think. I love you.